The first time she said it, I thought I misheard her. "It's actually helping you." She said it calmly, like she was explaining a grocery list. I didn't react. I just stood there holding the glass I hadn't taken a sip from yet. Something felt off. Not loud, not obvious, just wrong. I remember the clock ticking behind her. Loud, too loud. I shouldn't have noticed that. She didn't look guilty. That's what stayed with me. No shaking hands, no avoiding eye contact. Just steady, almost. Relieved. I kept it to myself. "Helping me how?" I asked. She smiled a little. Not warm, not cold, just certain. "You've been under pressure for everything. This takes some weight off you." That's when everything shifted. I didn't ask what she meant, not yet, because I already knew something I couldn't explain. Like when a room feels different, but nothing's moved. I set the glass down, slowly. I didn't want to give her anything. No reaction, no question she could prepare for. "Okay," I said. She nodded like that was enough, like I should understand. I didn't sleep that night, not really. I lay there staring at the ceiling while she breathed beside me like nothing had changed, but something had. Around 2:17 a.m., her phone lit up. She didn't move. I did. I shouldn't have, but I reached for it anyway, and that's when I saw the name. Not saved, just a number, and one message. "You told him yet?" I put the phone back exactly where it was. Didn't wake her, didn't say a word, because... Suddenly I knew this wasn't what she said it was, not even close. I didn't confront her the next morning. I made coffee, same as always, sat at the same spot at the table, watched her move around the kitchen like nothing had shifted. But now I was paying attention. Little things stood out, things I should have noticed before. She didn't touch her phone while I was there, not once. It stayed face down, too careful. "Big day?" she asked, pouring herself coffee. "Same as always," I said. She nodded, like she already knew. That used to feel normal. That morning it didn't. I kept replaying what she said the night before. "Helping me." That wasn't something you say by accident. That was something you believe, or something you've practiced. I went to work, but I didn't work much. I sat at my desk thinking about timelines, when things started to feel different, when she stopped asking questions, when she started having answers I never gave. Around noon, I checked the phone records. I shouldn't have had access. But I did. Old habit from when we were managing bills together. The number wasn't new. That hit me harder than anything else. It went back months, late nights, early mornings, gaps during the day that lined up too clean to ignore. This wasn't sudden. This was built. I closed the tab and leaned back in my chair. No anger, not yet, just clarity. When I got home, she was already there. Dinner half ready, music playing low. She smiled when I walked in. Same smile as always, but now I could see it. Not fake, just separate, like she was living something I wasn't part of anymore. And that's when I realized whatever this was, it didn't start yesterday. I stopped asking direct questions after that. Not because I didn't want answers, because I wanted the right ones. That night, I watched her routine more closely than I ever had. The timing, the pauses, the moment she stepped away just a little too casually. She went to the balcony to take a call. I shouldn't have followed, but I did. I didn't go all the way out, just enough to hear the shift in her voice. Softer, lighter, like she wasn't carrying anything heavy anymore. "Yeah, he's fine," she said. Pause. "I told you he doesn't notice things like that." That stayed with me. Not the words, the confidence. I stepped back before she came in, sat down like I'd been there the whole time. She walked in, glanced at me, then went straight to the sink. No hesitation, no checking if I heard. That told me more than anything else. Later that night, I waited again, around the same time. Her phone lit up. This time I didn't touch it. I just watched. She picked it up immediately, not even a second of delay, read it, then typed something quickly, turned the screen away from me. Too fast, too practiced. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just my sister," she said. I nodded. I didn't call her out, because I didn't need to anymore. The pattern was clear. This wasn't just happening, it was managed, controlled, planned. And somehow, I was the only one who didn't know the full version yet, but I was getting close, closer than she thought. I didn't plan to find out that night, just happened. She fell asleep early, earlier than usual, phone still in her hand, screen dim but not locked. I waited. 5 minutes, 10, then I took it. No hesitation this time. The message thread was already open, same number, but now there was a name. Not saved in contacts, just typed inside the chat. Mark, physical therapy. That's when it hit. The appointments, the back pain she kept mentioning, the extra sessions she insisted on taking alone. I scrolled. I shouldn't have, but I did. It wasn't subtle, not hidden, just justified. He's exhausted all the time. This keeps him stable. You said it helps him focus. I'm doing this for us. My chest didn't tighten. My hands didn't shake. I just kept reading. Then I saw the one message that explained everything. If he knew the real reason, he'd break. This way. Everyone wins. Everyone. I put the phone down exactly where it was. Sat there for a minute, then I stood up and walked into the bathroom. Looked at myself in the mirror. Same face, same life, but suddenly I understood what she meant. Helping me. Not emotionally, not mentally, financially. She had been seeing him for months because he was connected, because he was useful, because somehow this arrangement was benefiting me. That's how she saw it. That's how she justified it. I walked back into the bedroom. She was still asleep, peaceful, like nothing in the world was wrong. And that's when I realized this wasn't just betrayal, this was a decision she had already finished making. I didn't confront her, not the next morning, not that week. I needed to understand the full picture before I moved. So I started watching differently. I asked normal questions, simple ones, the kind she wouldn't think twice about. How's the therapy going? She smiled. Better. He's helping a lot. I nodded like that made sense. I even drove her once. She told me to drop her a block early, said parking was bad. I shouldn't have agreed, but I did. Then I parked anyway, waited. 10 minutes later, I saw her walk past the clinic door without going in. She crossed the street, didn't look back. That told me everything I needed. I didn't follow her, not that day. I just sat there, hands on the wheel, thinking about how clean this all was. No panic, no mistakes. She wasn't careless, she was confident. That meant one thing. She didn't think I was a risk. That night, I opened my laptop, pulled up everything again. Call logs, dates, locations. Then I went further. Business records, connections. That's when his name showed up again. Not just as a therapist, he had partnerships, investments. One of them tied directly to a company I'd been trying to get into for months. I leaned back in my chair. That's when it clicked fully. This wasn't random. This wasn't emotional. This was strategic. Wasn't cheating out of weakness, she was trading something for access, for advantage, for me. At least that's what she told herself. I closed the laptop slowly, because now I wasn't guessing anymore. Now I had direction, and I knew exactly what I needed to do next. I didn't rush it. That would have been the easiest mistake. Instead, I leaned into it. At dinner, I brought it up casually. That company I told you about, I think I might finally get a meeting. She paused for half a second, just half. Then she smiled. Really? That's great. Too smooth, too ready. I heard they're hard to reach, I added. She shrugged. Sometimes it's just about knowing the right people. I watched her when she said that. No hesitation, no guilt, just confidence. That told me everything I needed. The next step was simple. I requested a formal meeting through the usual channels. No shortcuts, no connections, and I got exactly what I expected. Silence. 3 days passed, nothing. Then that night, her phone lit up again. She picked it up fast, too fast, typed something, looked at me once, then went back to the screen. I didn't ask. I didn't need to. The next morning, I checked my email. There it was, A response. Sudden, polite, interested. Let's schedule something this week. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the screen. Timing like that doesn't happen by accident. I printed the email, folded it neatly, and slid it into my folder, because now I had proof. Not direct, not obvious, but enough to connect the lines. That same day, I made 2 calls. One to a lawyer, one to a private investigator. I didn't explain everything, just enough. Discreet, I said. They both understood. And for the first time since all of this started, I wasn't reacting anymore. I was building something, quietly, carefully, and she still had no idea. I didn't wait long after that. Once the investigator sent the first report, I knew I had enough. Dates, locations, payments, meetings outside. The clinic. Planned, organized, hard to argue with. The lawyer moved just as quietly. We filed everything without telling her. No warning. No discussion. I kept my routine the same. Same dinner. Same tone. Same silence. Then I scheduled the meeting. The one with the company. This time it was confirmed fast. Too fast. She noticed. You finally got in? She asked, almost relieved. Yeah. I said, tomorrow morning. She smiled. That same calm smile. Like her plan was working. I let it. The next day, I walked into that office with a folder under my arm. Inside it, everything. Not just her messages. Not just the investigator's report. But the connection. The way access was being traded. The way decisions were being influenced. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't accuse anyone. I just laid it out. Simple. Clear. Professional. The room changed immediately. No one interrupted. No one defended him. Because they didn't need to. They understood what it meant. By the time I left, I didn't have to ask. What would happen next? I already knew. That evening she called me. Not text. Called. Something's wrong, she said. Her voice wasn't calm anymore. What do you mean? I asked. They canceled everything. All of it. He won't answer me. I stayed quiet for a second. Then I said, that's strange. She didn't respond. Because I think for the first time, she felt it. That something had shifted. And this time it wasn't in her control anymore. She got home late that night. Didn't turn on the lights right away. Just stood there in the doorway like she wasn't sure this was still her place. I stayed on the couch. Same position I'd been in for an hour. Waiting. What did you do? She asked. No anger. Just uncertainty. I looked at her for a second. Then I said, I fixed it. She stepped closer. Slower this time. He's not answering. Everything's gone. My access to meetings. Everything. Nodded. Yeah. That's when it hit her. Not all at once. But enough. You told them, she said quietly. I showed them. I corrected. She didn't argue. Didn't raise her voice. She just sat down across from me. For the first time since all this started, she looked unsure. I did it for us, she said. I believe that. That was the problem. I know. I said. She looked up at me like there was still something left to fix. There's nothing left to help. I added. That landed. We sat there in silence for a while. No yelling. No scene. Just 2 people who understood exactly where things had gone. The papers were already filed. She found out the next morning. Didn't fight it. Didn't try to explain again. Because there wasn't anything new to say. Some things don't end with noise. They end with clarity. And once you see something clearly, you can't pretend it's still worth keeping. I moved out a week later. Not angry. Just done. Because what she called help cost. More than anything it gave.